On the third day of the Boxing Day test, India, New Zealand and South Africa looked in good command of their matches. We'll speak about this and more things about the third day's proceedings after a short intro. Hi friends, you're watching Cricket with Raghuram. Resuming at 277 for 5, India couldn't add too many runs to the total. India could just add 49 runs to the overnight score and India were all out for 326 runs. Ajinkya Rahane once again found himself in the middle of a mess up, this time with Ravindra Jadeja, and got run out for 112 runs. Jadeja completed his half century but couldn't stay long as he was dismissed by Mitchell Starc for 57 runs. But Ajinkya Rahane and Ravindra Jadeja had done their job for India. See the number of balls played by Ajinkya Rahane and Ravindra Jadeja: 223 balls by Rahane and 159 balls by Jadeja. They almost played 64 overs between themselves. This is a great lesson for the other batsmen to apply themselves and bat long. Indian tail couldn't wag long as India were all out for 326 runs. India got a lead of 131 runs, but this 131 runs looked like a mammoth lead for Australia when the Aussie batsmen started walking towards the dressing room one after the other in quick succession, and suddenly Australia was 99 for 6 in the 48th over. Australia was in deep trouble and they couldn't believe themselves. I would rather tell that Indian bowlers were really hard to play at for the Aussie batsmen. It would have been all over for Australia if it weren't for Green and Cummins to save them from a humiliating defeat on the third day of the test itself. Not throwing away their wickets, Green and Cummins put undefeated 34 runs for the 7th wicket. Very vital runs for Australia. Indian bowlers were too good and exemplary today. Everyone bowled tight spells and got wickets. While Ravindra Jadeja got 2 wickets, including that of Matthew Wade, the other bowlers got 1 wicket each. Matthew Wade was a lone fighter for Australia in the top order and he scored 40 runs in 137 balls. Australia had a small psychological advantage over India in the last hour, but the day definitely belonged to India. Australia go to stumps with just 2 runs lead. Tomorrow, India would be looking to have as less runs as possible to chase down and win the test match. This also will help India to even up the series 1-1. For this to happen, India need to clean up the Aussie tail as quickly as possible. In the entire proceedings, India had a small bad news. Umesh Yadav got injured and they might have to bowl tomorrow without his services. But India need to manage the show. I wish and keep my fingers crossed to see India winning that Boxing Day test tomorrow. In the other match, Pakistan was lucky enough to escape the follow-on narrowly as they were bundled out for 239 runs in reply to New Zealand's 431 runs. Fahim Ashraf and Pakistan captain Mohammad Rizwan gave a stiff resistance towards the end. Rizwan made 71 runs while Ashraf scored 91 runs. By doing so, they had saved Pakistan from horrible humiliation. At a point, Pakistan was 80 for 6 in 60th over before Rizwan and Ashraf came to their help. New Zealand bowlers were clinical with the ball. Jamieson was really tight with his spell and picked 3 wickets. Southee, Bolt and Wagner on the other hand chipped in with 2 wickets each. With 2 days left over and having 192 runs in their pocket, New Zealand would definitely fancy to win this test match. Tomorrow, New Zealand would look to add quick runs to the lead and give an impossible target for Pakistan to chase down. It would be really interesting to see how Pakistan would manage the show tomorrow. It was really heartbreaking to see Faf du Plessis miss his double ton by just one run. Just before this, there were moments of tension when Sri Lanka had appealed for a stumping chance to dismiss Faf du Plessis. The television umpire took a long time to give his decision and created a lot of tension, but ultimately Faf du Plessis had survived. But he did not make use of that chance to convert his 100 into a double 100. Faf du Plessis definitely deserved that 200, but poor thing, he missed it by just one run. Faf du Plessis held the South African innings together and was instrumental in posting a mammoth total in reply to Sri Lanka's 396. In the forms of Bavuma, Mulder and Keshav Maharaja, Faf du Plessis got wonderful company to build up a big score for South Africa. Faf du Plessis put 3 big partnerships. The first one was 179 runs partnership with Bavuma. The second one was 77 runs partnership with Mulder, and the last one was a big partnership of 133 runs with Keshav Maharaja. Bavuma was dismissed for 76 runs while Mulder contributed important 36 runs to the total. Faf du Plessis and Keshav Maharaja put 133 runs for the 7th wicket and took South Africa's score past 600 runs. Faf du Plessis was solid and clinical in his batting as he hit 24 boundaries in his innings. After the dismissal of Faf du Plessis, Keshav Maharaja tried his best to hold the end and magnify the score, but that wasn't to be. Sri Lankan bowlers took quick wickets at the end, including that of Keshav Maharaja. Keshav Maharaja was the last batsman to get out with an impressive 73 runs to his credit. For Sri Lanka, Hasaranga took 4 wickets while Vishwa Fernando chipped in with 3 wickets. South Africa was ultimately all out for 621 runs and got a lead of 225 runs. Ngidi gave quick breakthroughs for South Africa when he dismissed Karunaratne and Mendes quickly. Later, Kusal Perera and Chandimal made sure that Sri Lanka did not lose any more wickets and went to stumps at 65 for 2. Sri Lanka scored those 65 runs in just 12 overs at a run rate of 5 per over. It was really good to see Sri Lanka not going into the shell after losing early 2 wickets. The same attacking attitude can equally be dangerous. Tomorrow, on the 4th day, Sri Lanka should look to erase that lead and give at least a target of 180 to 200 runs for South Africa to win on the final day. For this to happen, Sri Lanka need at least 400 plus runs on the board. And Sri Lanka has to really bat out of their skins to do that. Easier said than done. It is not easy to do that, but it is not impossible also. At stumps, Sri Lanka were trailing South Africa by 160 runs. Tomorrow, they need to get those runs and build a healthy lead if they need to stay in contention in the match. Today, on the 3rd day, 369 runs were scored in 82.1 overs at 4.49 runs per over. This shows that it is a very good batting track and we need to see how Sri Lanka would manage the show tomorrow. At stumps, we could see Chandimal lying on the ground and wincing with pain, and he was taken away from the ground with help. I wish there is no serious injury to Chandimal. I also wish that he comes to bat tomorrow and helps Sri Lanka to get good runs on board. We need to remember that Dhananjaya De Silva is already injured and has been ruled out of the match and the series, and his services will not be available. And Chandimal's injury shouldn't be another shocker for Sri Lanka. I wish that, seriously. Thanks for watching my video. If you have loved my video, like, share and subscribe my channel. I'll catch up with you all in my next video. Until then, goodbye. Namaste.